Hello.
Hey.
How y'all doing?
Good.
How are you?
Good. Y'all matching.
So we're gonna record this, Avi, and we just wanted to let you know before we start, we do like an official opening. We're gonna officially introduce you.
Yep. I've been watching a couple episodes.
Okay. So I'm Chris.
And I'm Paul.
Welcome to CP Time, because today we have an amazing artist from Pittsburgh. Not originally hails from Baltimore. We'll forgive him. He has performed and worked at Bricolage Theater Company, Pittsburgh Playwrights, City Theater, Pittsburgh Public Theater, Pittsburgh Civic Light Opera, Prime Stage, and I've probably forgotten about 10 more. But he's an actor, writer, director, and now has a new hat that he will hopefully talk about too. Everybody, welcome Monteze Freeland!
Hi, y'all.
Hi.
Hey.
How are you?
Oh, how am I? I'm blessed. Always blessed. So I'm grateful. Yes, for sure.
And where are you talking from?
I'm in Pittsburgh. I'm in the Hill District. So yeah, I'm in the house where August Wilson learned how to actually like hold a pencil. And I'm lying. I'm not. I'm lying. It looks like it though. It looks like the house.
Yeah, your background is amazing. We're in our kitchen, so we don't have a fancy schmancy background. So you're doing good. You're healthy. You're doing good.
Yes, I am. I am trying to get some sleep. Trying to do that. But
And is your family all healthy? Is everybody in your family doing good?
yes, they are. Luckily, we did have some wild bouts with COVID, and unfortunately lost a few family members to it. But I don't want to bring this down. But but I'm grateful, to be able to communicate with them and still stay in touch. I wish I could get home a little more, but it's it's hard. I think everybody wants to get home a little more.
Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear that. That's awful.
Thank you.
But we'll keep you in our hearts, and your family in our hearts as we move through 2021.
Yes, thank you. Appreciate that.
Well, we're super glad you're here, and we're going to ask you some questions. We want you to talk about anything you want to talk about, but mostly we'll turn it to Paul as the first question.
Okay, I didn't know you were from Baltimore. My first question is, have you had lake trout, and what does it taste like?
I have had lake trout when I was a kid. I don't like it. See, I don't like seafood. I say I'm allergic to it because I am, but people think I'm just lying. But I don't like seafood, so I can only eat one type of fish. But we used to go to this place called Lake Trout in Baltimore, and it was good, but it had bones in it. So I hated that. I was like, this is weird. Why are we eating all these bones? So I've had lake trout, but I'm not a fan.
Okay, I had to know because she said Baltimore. I had to ask.
Okay.
Yeah. My serious question is, what are you able to do right now, given our climate, given COVID? There's not really performances happening in person, gigs, things like that. What are you able to do with your art right now in today's climate?
Well, I can always write. I can always sit down and write a play when I get the notion to. And so I can always do that. I've been doing like you all been doing weekly sort of. I have a podcast with my friend Latre. And so we're in like week 28 or something like that. It's like a little bit underground because it's a little raunchy.
Oh, I love it.
Give us a plug. Give us a
plug
plug,
it.
please.
Like, tell us what it's about, and if it's like PG, that's okay. I mean,
it's got a cuss word in the title, so I'll just say the subtitle, which is "Don't Pay Us No Mind." And,
well, we'll definitely we'll add a little tag in.
Yes.
And so are you doing it remotely with each other, or are you together?
We do get together. We social distance. We got our mics and we sit across from each other, and we just come up with a subject to talk about and just riff on it and just chat through our personal experiences, through our dreams. We talk a lot about being Black men in this business and what does it mean to be queer men in this business. And so plus a whole bunch of other crash jokes and fun times. Not like the nice family wholesome time you have here going on.
No,
So.
but we really do want you to tell us the name of your podcast because we do want people to know how they can view it and what they're looking for. So go ahead, just say it.
Well, it's called I Ain't Shit. Don't pay me no mind. And so and you can listen to it on Spotify and on Anchor. Apple won't let us on yet, so we got to figure that out.
Uh-oh.
Well, you know about that. Well, how didn't we have to wait?
We had to wait.
We had to wait.
And you have to wait.
Mm-hmm.
But then you'll get
on there. You'll get on there.
Well, high five. Awesome. I can't wait to hear it. That's awesome. I want to know, I want to know, because you brought it up, what's next for you? Like, what do you want to happen next for you? And it doesn't have to be theater, and it doesn't have to be directing or writing. Like, what do you want after all of this kind of subsides?
I want a dog. I want a little dog. Like, what this has taught me is, like, I like being alone. I'm typically an introvert, although I have the job of an extrovert, so that's difficult. But instead of me rushing into some relationships, maybe I should get me a dog first. So that's what I've learned during this process I want a little doggy. And I want two of them. I'm naming one of them Mr. Armstein, and the other one will be Suge Avery. So, all right, got their names.
That's amazing. Well, it's true. I think pets, and we've talked about it before, I think pets have saved a lot of people's sanity in this crazy time. Yeah. And
I feel bad. For pets when we do start moving around and leaving. The pets are going to be like freaking out. Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Even with them 24 hours a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have a question for you also. Another one is, what is your dream collaboration? Like, if you could collaborate with anybody and do anything, what would it be? And I'm not saying, like, I'm sure you have 1,000 ideas and I kind of put you on the spot, but just like spitballing, what would be a dream collaboration?
A dream collaboration. That's just because it's like come to the top of my head, but I would like love to incorporate like gospel music onto stage, but like in a Vegas style show where it's like something that, where we can actually physicalize the songs. You can actually visualize like some of the moments that happens, because a lot of park and bark, but it's like, how can we make that theatrical? So like working with the gospel community, locally and afar, and then working with top of the art, technical aspects, that would be really cool. A really cool collaboration I would love to do. So I don't know who the people are, but I know it's going to take a lot of people to make that happen. So
have you seen Black Nativity here?
Yes, I've seen Black Nativity. That's
the first thing I thought of when you talk about that. No, but the gospel kind of brought to life in a theatrical kind of thing.
Yep. I might be involved with it this year to a degree. We've been like having a little conversations with some of the creators, but so I've always wanted to do it. It's something that I would go to every year to watch, and I've done like behind the scenes interviews with the cast and the singers. I'm too scared to audition. Some people sing, and so they sing. So I'm like, let me just produce this but yeah, so I think it's a wonderful staple and a tradition in the city that I would love to see, like at the Biome, something like that.
I was gonna say, it's this like when did we go together?
Yeah, we went to Pitt.
I was like, how are we not knowing about this?
Mm-hmm.
It is meant for a huge stage. It's meant for like a huge audience, and it's so. I mean, it's everything. It's theater. It's dance. It's music. It's. I mean, it's like electric. Storytelling. Yeah, totally.
It is. It's beautiful. And so I would love to see something like that, on a, like you said, a large scale and large stage, and an audience that, is just eating it up and being healed and touched by it all.
I love that.
For sure. So I have a question. We all experienced what happened last year with George Floyd and Black Lives Matter, the awakening that our country seemed to have gone through. And we're seeing a lot of inclusivity now a lot of people reaching out to us as a community, right?
Mm-hmm.
How have you been experiencing that with your position, and what kind of effect have you seen happen in your sphere as far as this now coming into our consciousness and things we have to address and we can now and include? I mean, what have you seen on your end?
Well, hopefully you've seen things on your end, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah. It was at a weird time because pre-pandemic, I was a freelance artist, and that's what I did. I was out here gigging like everybody else. And then I got the job at City Theater as the associate producer. So it took a while before I actually was in the position because of everything that happened. But so I came to that position exactly around the time when all of this stuff started to work. And here I am as a Black man in a position in a regional theater, and the social justice is now spilling into our business head on. And now I'm a representative of that business, and I'm now a part of the problem to a degree. And so it's like, how do you work to correct the systemic issues inside of an institution when you are on the inside of it? And so people think that that's the place to be, but I found that that's a little harder to be because you are kind of still dealing with the real world. It was like, I felt really guilty about going to work because I had a place to put my energy and my focus to. And then at 5 o'clock, I'd leave my office and go to the living room, and it would be the world's on fire and everything's happening. And how do you, so it was hard grappling with all of that. But I see a fight that has, come up out of this, that hopefully a lot of people are not only fighting for inclusivity, but for equity, for diversity, for accessibility, and for creativity. So I think that that's another one that we have to keep inside of this, because we have to be creative about finding the solutions to this problem that may not go away in our lifetime. But we got to be creative about how we deal with it and how we treat one another through the process.
Yeah. I guess, when you say how to deal with it and how to, because of this crazy time, we teach during the day virtually, and we can't really connect with our kids. So I decided, I'm just going to share this because I think it's last year and this year I decided to drive around and drop something off at all my kids' house.
Oh, that's so sweet.
But it's honestly, Montez, it was intense.
Mm-hmm.
It's intense to know something, to know about systemic racism, to know what intolerance and all of that is, and then to drive up to your student's house and see the despair. The gap is so enormous.
Yes, it is. It is.
And I said to Paul, I came home and I said, that I think is one of the things that needs to happen. Is I think that educators and artists and people that are working with kids, because if you're going to change the world, you got to start with them.
Amen.
Need to go into the community and really see how these kids are living.
Sure. So, it's like police officers, people are now upset because police officers typically live outside of the communities that they police, and therefore they have no real connection to it. And I do think that that is something that possibly we need to look at when it comes to the educational system, of where are we pulling these educators from? And not everybody needs to come from the neighborhood, because you need that perspective from outside, that learned perspective from traveled, people. But you also need the folks there to say, hey, this is what these people are going through. This is what these students are going through. So you can have that grace and empathy.
And I'm not even talking about 100%. And I love your example of the police. That's but I'm not even talking about material things.
Oh,
I'm
sure.
talking about when you're teaching virtually and you as a teacher get super frustrated because the kids are like, my Wi-Fi is not working, Miss Latta. And then you drive to their neighborhood and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
yeah, they
Yeah.
were being 100% honest. You
Mm-hmm.
know, and
Yeah.
and it really I think it's one thing that we have to do as artists. We are very focused on our cultural world and our nucleus of like where we perform and where we, but as artists and educators, I think we have to start looking at the whole community and going out into the community further and further, because for me it makes my mind bigger seeing, okay, that community needs more. They need more. They need more art. They need more opportunity. How can we give it to that community?
It's true.
Well, doing what you did, I mean, you could see not just economically, I think.
I'm not even talking about
but I mean, you can see how cut off, they are from arts,
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, can you see that? Can you think about how much of an impact would it be if a music group went out there to play for the visual arts
100%.
or acting? Let's do Shakespeare.
Yeah.
See how they react.
Yes.
But they're cut off. Yeah, it's not just an economic thing.
No. And I didn't mean to imply that. Yeah. It's not just about wealth or things. It is you said it better than me.
No, but it's cultural completely, and we need to bring the culture.
Yeah, and I went. I would never. I don't know how I found anything before a GPS.
Oh my goodness!
Honest to God, I don't know how I found anything, and so I would put their GPS in, and I would be driving, and it was so removed. I mean, yeah. We need to find these communities. We need to bring music, art, dance right into these communities.
Right.
Boom.
Right.
Sorry, we're talking too much. It's all about you, and we're like,
no, it's all about these topics. Yeah.
No, but we're having a conversation, and I found that since this time, this is the thing I appreciate the most, is that these conversations are being had. We're talking about it. We're talking about things that were verboten before. It's on the table. Let's talk about it. How can we move in the right direction? The conversations, the sometimes difficult conversations, need to be had. They need to be had.
Yeah.
And they're being had now.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I agree.
I apologize.
What do you?
Oh, y'all good.
What do you think? First of all, talk about your new job. Talk about what you do at the City Theater. And for those people listening, the City Theater is in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and it is really one of the main big boys. Is it a Lort Theater?
It is a Lort Theater.
The Lort Theater,
What is that? Please explain that to me.
Well,
it's the League of Resident Theater. League of Resident Theaters, right? Regional theaters.
Yeah.
Lord.
It's a union house, which means they hire union, designers, actors, all of that. But the City Theater, and totally interject, one of their big things is new works. I mean, more than anybody else in the city, they are deep diving into newer writers, new works, and things like that, right?
Yeah, absolutely. We specialize in new works. So many of our plays that we produce are no more than 5 years old for the most part. So sometimes it's that first world premiere production, or that even needed second or third production where revisions have happened and you need to see it on stage fully to know if this is it. And, so that's been a boon to the community, because it allows for up and coming and established and playwrights to have their work produced in cities that they sometimes don't have a connection in. So it's really fresh eyes on the plays, and not necessarily that hometown, support of "we're gonna love it regardless." Pittsburgh will tell you if they don't like it. And so we specialize in new plays and have always done so. And it's that in itself is a skill, because it's a matter of really staying up to the pulse of not necessarily what's commercial, but what is going to push the needle regarding social justice and change and expanding our minds and allowing us to see different types of people on stage who deserve to have their stories told in the American theater medium.
Yeah, that was eloquent.
No, great. Can you tell us, because she started to ask, what do you specifically do? Are you choosing the plays? Are you?
No, I'm not choosing the plays yet. No. I'm still trying to figure out what I do. No,
we all are.
I know, right? But really, what I consider myself to be is a liaison between the artistic community and the theater. Having my background of being an artist here in the city for over 10 years and really growing and cutting my teeth on these stages here, it allows me to know the community and to know different parts of the community and to, I think, understand some of the needs of the artistic community. And so how can City Theater use its resources to support the artistic community in the city? So that's why I look at my job as sort of that conduit between the two, of saying like, hey, this is what's happening on the streets. This is how we can either get in front of it, or this is how we can find a solution to it. And so I'm nosy in that way, in a sense. But I assist with, of course, line producing, looking at how to get the different production teams together. Of course, assisting in casting. I play a large role along with the Director of Education, Katie Trubiano, in the Young Playwrights Festival, which is near and dear to my heart. And so that's primarily what I do. And I've been doing a lot of producing of some Zoom plays and Zoom readings and different initiatives that we have coming up, and ones that we've already tackled. So that's my job.
What do you have coming up for the people who tune in? What can they be expected to see coming up at the City Theater?
Well, I can't give too much away right now, but I can tell you what's out there in the world. You might have to bleep this one too. But we have a show. This, if you're on my podcast, I'm working at the right place. But we have a show called, I'll just say the abbreviated title, F 7th Grade.
Oh, yeah.
Now, that is written by Jill Sobule, based off of her very eclectic and bright life, and and in a way artistically tragic to how the world wasn't ready for an artist who lived in the queer lane. And so it's a rock concert of her life that's playing now until June, so people can stream that. And we did that at our DriveIn Arts Festival that we had in the fall. Yes, Paul was there killing it. Yes, for sure.
That was so, like, you guys, City Theater, man, you figured it out.
Yeah.
You figured it out. I was so blown away the night that we drove in, because we've been in this tiny pod, my mom and Paul, right? Mm-hmm. And so, you guys did such an amazing job with that. And for people listening, can you explain how you came up with that idea?
Oh, I mean, I think that's all Mark Masterson and James McNeil. They both came up. I'm not sure who came up with it first, so I'll just give them both the credit. Yeah. But they came up with it. Not only came up with it, but they worked quickly to make it happen. That's the one thing I learned about this arts admin side, is like you work real fast. And it's a lot of, an idea comes, and it's not like, oh, let me percolate on this for 2 days to see if it's working. It's like the next day you're making calls, you're sending emails to see how to make it work. So they had an idea for a drive-in stage where people could just drive up, watch something, and we had to figure out, well, how will they see it? So we had to get a screen. We had to, of course, get the projectors and make sure the stage is large enough. How are they going to hear? So we had to get an FM radio station tower hooked up so that folks could listen inside their cars. So it was a lot of troubleshooting, but it was just gumption. I think we were just determined to do something. And I feel like that team at City Theater is just so proactive and just so, full of go-getters, and like, they don't know no. And so
that I'm all about that.
Right.
He hates that about me, because I'm like, let's do it now. I love that. And that's what we need. I think that's what we need in this community. Like, if I had a dream for Pittsburgh in the arts, and you can chime in, is that we need more. We need more big ideas. We need more risk takers, and we need to be doing more.
Yep.
Like that's how I feel. And I thought that drive-in, like, man, can we blow it up, and can we do it like at some giant old dilapidated drive-in where we can now get 4 or 5 times as many people showing up? You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's a lot of logistics, you know, and I think that it's the name of the game is innovation at this point, ingenuity, and just figuring out new tactics and new ways to tell stories.
Yeah. You have a question?
Yes.
Put you on the spot. You got a question?
How do you continue to mentor during these COVID times?
You know, when all this stuff happened and like teaching, everyone was going online to teach, I was like, I have no desire to teach kids in their bedrooms, and like, you know, because it just was like, you know, really weird. And so I've done only a couple master classes. So I feel like normally my mentorship is typically with younger students, like as young as kindergarten to like, you know, high school. But I've kind of turned some of my mentorship to those who are high school age, or rather college age, and those elusive years right after college, which are very difficult. And then now you put a pandemic into this. I mean, oh my goodness, you know, so it's like it's been a lot of soul mentoring in a way, you know, because we're all waiting. I can't give any advice about what's to come because we don't know, but we know that if we're going to be there, then it means that we got to make sure that we're feeling good and right within when the time comes to walk through those doors and to reap those benefits. So it's been a lot of just having conversations with a lot of the up and coming young artists here in the city and beyond, and just supporting them and figuring out how they need support. I'll text my friends and be like, I'm sending you all a Zoom link, get on now, because we might need to pour something into somebody in that moment. So yeah, it's I think it's, you know, it's about community and sticking together, coming together. You know,
you are very community oriented.
Mm-hmm.
That is like the vibe. You are very, I think it emanates from you, the sense of community and the sense of working together, and that's really awesome, Montez. It definitely, you can feel it.
Thank you.
Definitely.
I appreciate it.
Also, how are you staying so gorgeous during the pandemic?
NARS, makeup. That is all this is. Look, I knew I had to be, you know, camera ready today. I was like, let me do something because I don't feel like it.
You look amazing.
Thank you.
Yeah,
it's my season. My birthday was yesterday, so
I know.
We forgot to wish you a happy birthday.
Happy birthday to you.
Yes.
Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Montez. Happy birthday to you.
Yes. Give me the high note.
That was one of our goals during the pandemic, was to make sure we touched base with everybody during their birthday.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Well, because it was surreal, right? I mean, was your birthday totally surreal?
It was to a degree, because my best friend came to town and who was sitting like right to the left of me. They wave it to you.
Come on, you can peek it. You can peek it.
He will not.
Okay.
He will absolutely not. But he came to town, and so that's been great. And I really didn't get a chance to do much, but just hang out, and took some time off to chill and just, you know, hang with him and just be silly and watch trash television.
Okay, that's the other thing. What have you been binging? I mean, you can tell on our little pod vlogcast, we have the attention span of a goldfish, so we don't stay on one topic very long. What are you binging? And tell us, and then we'll tell you. First of all, let me start. Are you watching Bridgerton?
I watched all right, so I watched like 3 episodes. You know how it's like is when you fall asleep on a Netflix show and you
Yes.
wake up and you're like, oh, okay, I've got 45 minutes, and you fall asleep and you
Yes.
wake up, see a little more, and you're like, oh, it's done. So I feel like I watched it through a dream, but it wasn't for me. I don't know. It just wasn't.
You are trash.
Yeah,
You didn't like it?
she tried to get me to watch it.
No.
once.
Actually, I enjoyed watching it alone. So
And she described it. She was like, well, it's basically like softcore porn.
No,
That's how she described it. And I was like, okay, I like the concept.
Yeah. Stuff like that makes me so uncomfortable. And like when you just watching a story, I'm like, what is going on?
Okay, I'm sorry I brought it up. All right, tell us what you're watching.
My best friend has been keeping me on throughout this whole pandemic. He just suggests everything. I'm like, all right, fine. I had to learn to listen. But today we were watching a show called I'm Sorry, which is a hilarious comedy on Netflix starring Andrea Savage, maybe. I think that's her name. But that's funny. This week I watched Buried by the Barnards, which is a
I've seen this.
Yeah,
I saw the preview for it. It's a Black-owned funeral parlor, which we have sort of in our family.
Oh my gosh.
Yes.
Which is, when I watched it, I thought, oh my God, I have to show Paul this, because like Paul's cousin.
My cousin was in the funeral business for several years. He worked for White Memorial Chapel,
Which
one of the two big black funeral homes in the city. So I got to see his life in that world. In the funeral home world.
Okay, so what else?
Well, on that, my mother, her dreams when she retires in like 5 years is to start a funeral home. And so, yeah, but in her words, literally, she's like, well, you'll always have a singing gig. And I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, I guess cool. You got me there. So we're going to have a funeral home service in Baltimore, Maryland, or Delaware, wherever she want to plop down and do this. So she was like, watch this show. And I just feel like I'm watching my life in like the next 10 years.
I can't, yeah.
I used to be an actor and now I'm here at this funeral.
Do you save shows to watch with your best friend?
Oh yeah, we watch stuff all together. Like the Wendy Williams epic night on Lifetime. We watched on the phone together. There's another show called Dr. Foster, which I really like.
We gotta write it down.
Yeah, it's like,
I can't remember anything anymore. If I ever get a job again, I don't know how I'm gonna remember my lines because it's all
it's crazy. But yeah, Dr. Foster is wild. I'm trying. What else? Give me one more. Oh, he can't think.
You're from Baltimore. One of my all-time favorite shows of all time, The Wire. One of the greatest shows ever. Did you ever watch the show?
Yes. Well, no, I'm sorry. No, the answer is no. Actually, not no shade. So here's my Wire story. I grew up in Baltimore, and I was a child actor in Baltimore. And I went to the Arena Players, which was the oldest African-American continuously run community theater in the country. And so my acting teacher and voice musical director there was Robert Chu. Robert Chu played Prop Joe on The Wire. Mind blown, right?
Oh my God, Prop Joe!
He just peed himself.
Yes, and so he was my mentor from like when I was 10 years old to when he passed away when I was in my 20s. And he's the reason why I'm a writer, because he's the reason why like I've had plays put on, because he would encourage the theater to produce my plays when I was like 16 and 17 years old. And so he was my teacher. And remember what was it, season 4 when all the kids
the best season of The Wire.
Yeah. Well, all my friends are on there except for me, because he got all of us auditions, but I was too square and too tall. So they were like, he can't be one of the kids because he's too square. They're like, maybe we can make him a cop. So I do not have a Wire story or a Wire check, which I'm still a little.
You're still waiting on that.
This is one of the greatest. If you ever get around to watching it, one of the greatest shows ever. It's So good. She wouldn't watch it with me.
Well,
she can't do violence. She can't
you know what? Like, I just need a break from all that.
One of the greatest things, one of my favorite things about The Wire, this is the last thing I'll say, is the ensemble they got together. There were no super famous people other than like Idris Elba, and also the guy who was in Ma Rainey's Black Bottom, who's been in a bunch of stuff. He was a piano player. Glenn Turman.
Oh yes, Glenn.
Been in a ton of stuff. But the ensemble they pulled together, they weren't super famous. So every once in a while, you'll see somebody on TV and you'll be like, "Oh my God, it's such and such from The Wire." Like it's really
so true.
Such a good show, though. It's so good.
Okay, what else? Give me one more. Give me one more thing you're watching.
One more. Oh gosh.
We always go back to what we watch.
Okay. There was a show earlier on in the pandemic, Encore, that was on Disney Plus.
Wait a minute. I have a friend who was on one of the episodes.
What? Which one?
Okay. So many lifetimes ago, I did Summerstock Theater.
God bless.
And when I say I did Summerstock Theater, I mean I had to make the sets, sew the costumes, and do the show at night. And we all lived. This is true. I mean, this whole summer could have been a reality TV show. We all lived together in an old. What was at one time like a retreat house for priests or nuns or something?
So this is non-ec.
No, this actually might be equity, to be honest. That was good.
I'm sorry.
You nailed that joke. Nailed it. 2 points for you. So, anyway, the episode with Pippin, Vince, he's actually a playwright too. Vince Gatton. He's a pretty prolific playwright.
Okay.
He's also an actor. You can find him on Facebook. Vince Gatton. He played. Who did he play?
He wasn't Pippin. Or leading player.
No. The leading player was the African American guy.
They split the role. The leading player. It was 2 people who played.
Oh, it was 2? Yeah, they split it. You're right. I can't remember. Oh my God, I can't remember. I'm having a...
It's fine.
Yeah, he was in it. And so watching it was totally surreal. But Paul freaked over that show.
We didn't get through the whole thing. There's still more episodes we have to watch. I loved it. I was crying. Some of these episodes made me cry when you see these grown people and they get back into that place that they lost, that the place where they fell in love with singing and acting, and like you see it happen again, and it just makes me fall.
I never told you this, but the reason I needed to lay off is it wasn't actually making me too sad. It was actually making me too sad because I needed to not watch people doing theater. I don't know.
It's so good.
Yeah, I know. I was like watching every episode. I would have every emotion where at the top I'm like, this is going to be silly. And then I'm like laughing, and then probably laughing too hard. All of a sudden I'm like, why am I crying? But it's true. You see somebody up there in his, stupid wig and microphone big as day right here.
I know.
They're just like giving in their family and their parents, like out in the audience crying and what it means to like, their children to see them up there and go through that. And it was so emotional. So I pray that comes back for season 2, but I want them to come and feature us at the Arena Players for when we used to do all that stuff, because so many people have gone on to like really big things. I think if they had us in that room together. And my friend, no, but one of my friends from the Arena Players who he was on there actually as one of the professionals that they bring in.
That's the other thing. I knew one of the other professionals.
Exactly.
Adam, who was one of the music directors.
Oh yeah, who was that?
He was the music director for Game On.
Oh, nice.
He was music guy. Anyway, crazy.
My favorite scene on that show is when they put them all in the auditorium and they're coming in one at a time.
Aw.
And they're like, oh my God, look. And they see each other. That's my favorite scene. And they see each other for the first time in 20 years or
I
whatever.
know. Or they don't know who the person is. Like, who's that?
Yeah,
Is that
yeah,
Rob?
yeah.
Is that Rob? Oh my God, Rob! I mean, it's like, hey, it's James. It's like, oh, James.
Love
And
that
they're
show.
bald now.
I know, right? Oh my goodness.
You are amazing. I'm like obsessed with your energy. This is giving me. Okay, I have another question. So one of the things that we always talk about is what you need to survive during this time, but you cannot talk about your art.
Okay.
And because obviously like we're all like yearning, you know, for that to fill our souls. So talk to me about like what things you've done to fill your soul that is not theater per se. What did you use to get through this time?
Conversation. I think like definitely reaching out to people and having conversations. Therapy, going to therapy and being serious about that every week. Shout out to Neil. So like that was something. What else have I been doing? You know, it's hard. I've been really trying to figure out what are ways in which I have my life versus my art. Like I'm not a huge hobby having person. I'm not very crafty, but I did try to make my home feel like a home. And so I redecorated everything and bought new furniture and painted and got, you know, some lights up and whatnot. So I tried to really make it feel like, hey, if I'm here, then I want it to be something nice to look at. So it looks like a room at the Hotel Monaco. It's essentially what if I showed you. But it, you know, it brings me joy. Yeah.
Yeah, because you were going to leave Pittsburgh.
I did leave Pittsburgh. I was slowly coming back, and which I'm grateful for. You know, I cannot complain about that. Yeah. But it was a shift. It definitely was a shift. So this was like me saying, all right, you're here, and let's stay. Let's be, you know, I'm a grown up now. So
what do you need to survive COVID? Because mine was last time we talked, I said streaming services.
Oh, I have to pick something new every time.
Yeah, so I'm not. So I said streaming services, but I'm gonna pick something new too.
Okay.
I'm gonna pick. Oh boy, we've gone through this a lot. I think, like dancing, like being silly with you, dancing, and like that's. I need silliness.
Yeah.
Silly factor.
You know what she got?
Literally.
Oh yeah.
This is really silly. So we have the way our house is built. You see our kitchen behind us. A big circle. This first floor. So there's an entryway to like a TV room. Which goes right to a living room. Which there's a stairway, but it comes around.
It's just a big circle.
It's a big circle. And so she bought me a laser tag game.
I saw that on the last episode.
So there will be moments. Also, thanks to my wife, and I totally didn't agree with this. She found a foosball table for free.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Bought the house, and I was like, "Do not put that foosball table in my house. It is not a frat house." We have this foosball table. It was one of the best things ever. We play foosball. Every once in a while, she'd be like, let's play laser tag. We turn out the lights. We run around playing laser tag. We get so silly.
We need silliness. More. We need more of that. Yeah.
Yeah, I would love to do. I have a house where I feel like I could do that too, where it's a lot of entrance and exits where I could play laser tag, but I can't be around nobody long enough for all that. They gotta leave at some point. But,
that's right.
But dancing, like I love to dance, and so I just like will put on a whole playlist, like all types of playlists. And I'm like, let's just go. What is your
era? What is your go-to jam era?
Oh, I'm a big fan of like the 70s and 80s, like definitely 70s and 80s, R&B, soul, rock, funk. Yeah, like all that stuff. Like I got huge into the emotions like recently, which is just like disco, like, oh my goodness, that'll get you going.
Yeah, you're talking to the right people. That's the other thing. When this is all over, here's a project for the City Theater. Let's get a giant dance party going. Let's get people out of their houses dancing, and because when this is over and we're all safe, we need to celebrate.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, 100%.
For sure.
So, what do you have to plug? Is there anything that you want to plug or that you're working on and you're like, hey, look out in the future for this. I'm working on this. Is there anything?
Sure, yes. Well, something that we're doing, I'm not sure when this is going to air for the world, but on February 24th, I believe at 8 p.m., City Theater is hosting a Black History Month celebration. And it'll be broadcast on that day. And it's going to be at 8 o'clock, I believe, on the 24th. Let me make sure I'm telling you the right date, because
no, that's
I will mess up a date.
Do we need to buy a ticket for it?
No, but you can register. You can register for it because, we want to see who's there, who's coming through. But we're also just going to put it on our Facebook page too. So that's on the 24th. And it's essentially a conversation honoring the late, great Dr. Vernell Lilly, Bob Johnson, the choreographer and dancer, and the actor Don Marshall and writer Don Marshall. So it'll be hosted by Bria Walker and myself. And we'll have a panel of what I'm calling the OGs and the new Gs, sort of like people who are, before me and Bria's generation, who have been in this city, and Black people who have helped shape the artistic landscape here, and the ones who are coming up. And so that we can bridge that generational gap, because I think that hasn't been actively done here, so that the younger people can learn about the history of Black art in Pittsburgh beyond the, of course, prolific August Wilson and Billy Porter and Tamara Tooney, and they should be celebrated. But we want to look at people like Rob Penny and people like Bob Johnson and Tomei Cousin and Etta Cox, and people like that who really, again, Paul.
Because I play with Etta.
No.
But yeah, you too. But you're part of it too. It's like,
well, he's part of you. All the people that are also educators and also mentors. You are bridging, you are teaching, and you are bridging the gaps. Paul is he's a mentor. You're a mentor. I think that anybody that helps continue the story to educate about the people that laid the foundation, that's
but I need to tell you too, something that I see this as being an extension of when you're a young African American, and you probably had this happen to you, an older person that's been doing what you're doing in the arts. They go, "Oh, hey, I noticed you. Yeah, come on, let me help you. Let me bring you up a little bit."
Yeah,
there's not a lot of us.
No,
right.
We grab each other. We help each other get through it.
That is one thing that's so true. I mean, countless times, my best friend and I have gone to Broadway shows or shows at the Public or somewhere, and I'm a stage door rat, so I'll stand around the stage door and meet people. And I mean, there have been times people have given me rides home, taking me back to the artist housing just to like chat, taking us out to dinner. And it's like that community is something that I think is so important. That's what I came from. And for me, it's about, I think you said, Chris, why I'm so in the community here is because I'm not from here. So I had to build a family. I had to build a network of people because I have no family in this city whatsoever. And so it was like, that was very important to me. And I think it's just about reaching back. My good friend Ty Greenwood says we have to lift as we climb. And that is so very important.
You're giving me all the feels right now.
Well, I've got something else to plug.
Go.
Yes, so I will check out our Black History Month celebration for sure.
February 24th, yep.
Mm-hmm. But I'm also directing at my alma mater, Paul Park, at Point Park University. I'm directing Passing Strange.
Oh my God! What? Wait for it! Woo!
You playing it? Hey! Oh, that makes me so happy. That's so cool. Yes.
Nuts!
Yeah. So that'll be in the spring. Oh, that makes me so happy. I'm glad that they were able to get you.
So tell me, okay, how are you doing it?
Whew. Yes. So
because that's a huge that really ties back into this whole conversation. How are you doing it?
So we're doing it pretty safely. So a lot of the rehearsals will take place over Zoom, at least for the first 2 weeks. And then I'm bringing people in. It's going to be so by the number, like one at a time into the room with me and my associate director, Latre. And so we are, and my assistant director, Rashad, we're going to sort of create, like walk people through the entire track of the show, just them physically. And then we're going to eventually like spend days doing that one by one. And then we're going to put it together. But the way in which this is presented is if you were to think of like how Encores does, not the TV show, but in New York, how they do sort of like pared down versions of shows, almost sort of concert version of it. So we're leaning into the concert feel of this. And so it's going to be, you know, socially distant. The students are going to have to perform in masks, which is wild. So we can't have them, you know, going wild and crazy, because after claws out, when I was in a mask for 3 weeks singing and dancing, I said, good God, this is a lot. So we're being very safe, and I'm getting tested all the time. So I don't know about anybody else, but no, everyone's getting tested and keeping our distance. And we're doing our best to make sure that we all stay safe.
Are you, just for the sake of our listeners, is there an audience, or is it something they watch?
No audience. So it'll be filmed and then it'll be released as a film, which was hard because it's such a great film already of it. But this is going to be released for, family and friends and of course the community. But I'm really excited about it because we have an amazing diverse team of people working on it and ready to tell this story. And I think it might be the first black musical that Point Park has done in a while.
Wow. And, can I make a suggestion?
Okay.
Because this just came to me, like while you were talking. Can somebody document this?
You mean the process?
Yeah. I mean, I will gladly volunteer myself with a camera, but this might be something really worth documenting. Yeah. Having somebody film your direction, the process, because honestly, for the audience after it's over, I am sure there would be a profound interest on how this worked.
Yeah.
Man, it just gets me kind of excited thinking about somebody behind the scenes capturing this, because really claws out, there have been performances taped.
Right.
But this is on a bigger scale because this is more people. This is a university. This is musician. This is like, it might be something worth looking at documenting it.
Yeah, I think I'd be interested in that for sure. But nowadays you document something and people say, well, they didn't do this. And I didn't see that person standing 18 feet apart. But I hear what you're saying. It is something that I think we definitely want to document for sure, to know like what works, what doesn't, trial and error, how to make it happen. I think I definitely have having been through a couple situations of producing either movies or stage things, of just kind of like what it takes during this time. And it's really just being explicit and making sure that everyone is careful, but also making sure that doesn't lead the room, because that's not where creativity is. It's about getting that in your body first, then so that you can then just play. So that's what I really want to do, is capture that playing.
I think that's really exciting. And I think you should think about it, because I love the concept of you dealing one-on-one with the actors and tearing up. I mean, I think there's even like, you're starting with Zoom and then you're starting one-on-one. There's this lovely scaffolding that you're doing. And I think for an audience member to sort of see the puzzle come together would be fascinating.
Yeah, it will. It's going to be something, because I'm hoping it works. Because, trial and error. But no, it's going to be great. And the students are so game, so talented. Oh my goodness. I can't wait till you hear these voices, and especially the young men who are playing. I have 2 people playing youth. So we have a younger youth and we have like a middle, an older youth. And then we have the narrator. So it's like this 3 almost not generational, but 3-phase human that we get to see. And all these students have killer voices and talent. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Fantastic. And people that want to watch that will just go to the Point Park, their webpage and find it there.
Yep. And I'll promote one more thing.
Go!
Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater Company has a new training program called Ground Up Theater Training. And this is basically, we're training African Americans in the disciplines of sound design, lighting design, costume design, makeup design, stage combat, and stage management. So that, the city, everyone's saying, oh, we're about to become diverse and inclusive. Cool. We're going to make sure that we flood the business with people who are getting trained and ready so that they can hire them, since everyone is becoming so diverse and so inclusive. And so registration is open. So hopefully people can go to the Pittsburgh Playwrights Theater website, PPT. No, that's not right. It's pghplaywrights.org and sign up for Ground Up Theater Training. And it's free. It's completely free.
And what age range of people can sign up?
We're looking for adults. We're looking for people who are like 21 and older. But if you know someone who is about 18, 19, maybe not.
I have a couple exceptional students in mind that are like junior, seniors. They're high school level, but they're hungry.
Okay, send them my way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Love it.
You are exploding with like ideas and projects. It's amazing.
But look, it's a team behind every single one of these. None of these is done alone. None of it's done alone. I'm not even a key player in some of these things. So, but it's a whole team. I'm very blessed to have such amazing supportive people who go like, I have an idea, and they're like, let's make it happen. So
that's fantastic. You're amazing.
Today, but my best friend might say something else.
I feel like we need like at least like a hand cameo from your best friend. I feel like your best friend needs to give like a thumbs up in the camera or something. Because now I'm not even sure there's anybody in the room with.
Like 6 feet, hussy.
Well, good. Okay, you take care of each other. We think you're amazing.
Y'all are amazing. Thanks for doing this and providing entertainment and love.
We keep it light. We keep it light. We keep it silly. Do you have any other thoughts? Anything
thank you for being here, Montez. It's been so wonderful to talk to you.
So we want to give you a round of applause, and we end every episode the same way. I love you.
I love you.
Thank you, everybody, for tuning in.